Hey everybody, welcome back to the Veritas 21 podcast. Today I'm going to be talking about a very touchy subject for some. It's is Chivalry Dead? Now, through my research, there is a side of our society that actually despises chivalry, that it's demeaning to women or disrespectful, or says that she can't do it on her own, so the man has to do it. And it's just funny when I hear thoughts like that. I know the reason why I do chivalry, why I hold the door, why I'm a gentleman, why I let her order first at the restaurant as opposed to me. It's just simply a matter of respect. But when that gets construed as something that is disrespectful, then it becomes a huge problem within our society, which causes disconnection that now we cannot fully give ourselves to somebody, because if I gave that to them, then I'm offending them. And it's not even a bad thing. It's not out of anger. It's not out of disrespect. It's not out of being demeaning in any sense of the word. It is simply just showing respect and honoring the person that you're with. So I wanted to start out by saying this, that chivalry is not about the games and relationships. Chivalry is what is showing true connection, is what's showing true respect for that significant other. And to explain some of these, I'm actually going to give you a list of games that are often played within relationships. And these include the bait and switch, adventure game, I Never Date X, the Chameleon, My Girlfriend, the fake high value man, the game of chicken, Near His Place, Beauty is Common, and I'm Deeper, the sex provider. To break these down, the bait and switch game is showing interest and showing a lack of interest in the same subject to later make the other person question if the interest was even true in the beginning. This basically keeps your name running through their mind. The next one is the adventure game. Poses as an exciting partner and enhances the chances of a date or a one-night stand. So, for example, on this, if I'm the type of person that I say, hey, I'm a pilot, I just got back from Venezuela and I was hanging out with some friends down there and and then you're like, and I know the governor of the state of Kansas and blah, 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 blah. I mean, come on. The reality is that nobody lives that type of lifestyle, but a imposter, a person that wishes that he or she could live that type of lifestyle but really can't, is going to act as if they are that person in order to entice the person that they're trying to get in a relationship with to be more accepting to them or be more in awe of them. I Will Never Date X. This is an easy one. This is the one where you're like, you're really into brunettes and you're talking to this really pretty brunette girl. And you say, hey, I would never date a brunette girl. Now, it's simply a lie, absolutely. But the lie is meant to cause insecurities in her, because everybody's innate human nature is that we want to be accepted by the people around us, regardless if you say, oh, I don't care what anybody says about me. The reality is that there are people that you care about and their opinions. But by doing so, you create this insecurity in that other person. The next one is the Chameleon Game. This is where this person will display similar interest, even though it is a lie, to persuade the other person to like them more because of their similarities, what they have in common. Even though that person really doesn't care, they're basically, it's in its name. It's like a chameleon. It changes its colors to adapt to its surroundings, Well, in this case, this person changes their personality to adapt to the person that they're talking to. Now, I mean, you can see so many problems with that. And even going further into a relationship, how that can lead to those lies that were initially told, of those things being exposed. The next one is My Girlfriend. So this My Girlfriend game, this is where you guys have been talking for a few weeks, and maybe the girl says, hey, I won't have sex with you unless I'm in a serious relationship with you. So slowly, maybe not immediately, because you don't want to give this away, right? Because if you're the one that's playing the game, you don't want to give this away. So you say, hey, that's okay. I totally understand, blah, 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 blah. A week or two goes by. You start acting as if you are now the boyfriend, that she is your girlfriend, and that you are committed, even though these commitments haven't been clearly laid out. But it's just in talking that, hey, you're my girlfriend, or you're my boyfriend, or vice versa. This really doesn't play into either side. But it also doesn't play too much into chivalry, in the sense of, holding the door open, or allowing her to order first, or walking closest to the road when you're walking with her. We'll get into all of those topics. But this is simply some things that, when going into a relationship, that must be recognized if somebody is playing these games with you, because then you can never expect to get that respect that I believe every woman deserves through chivalry. Okay, here's this one. It's very similar to the adventure one, in the sense of basically being an imposter, and that is the fake high value connections game. This one, he will present himself as a high value person to increase his attraction. The game of chicken. This one is what a lot of emotional abusers will use, and that is, if you don't do A, B, and C, then I'm going to leave you because you're not following what I tell you to do. And so there's implementing this fear with a statement, but gaining control by seeing how susceptible somebody is to fall into that control. The next one is Near His Place game. Now, this one sounds a little bit weird, but with all of these things, there are people that are into this. There are people that like the toxicity of relationships, and this is like something where they're like, oh, this is awesome. But the reality is for somebody like me, where I'm like, hey, I want something real. I want real, meaningful connection. This would be red flags. And these are the only reason why I'm sharing these, is because these are things that should be having that mind running like ding, 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 ding. Run away right now. The next one is Near His Place. This is terrible. This is where he asks you on a date, and upon asking you on a date, he asks where you want to go. You're like, I don't care. You pick the place, whatever. So he makes the choice, but he's going to make a choice of a restaurant that is near his place of residence. So that way, afterwards, it increases the chances that you'll go home and sleep with him. Now, you may think, no, the guy I'm with would never do that. The reality is I'll just be straightforward. I'm a good guy. I absolutely do not operate like that. But there have been times in the back of my head that's like, yeah, if you want to take her home, then you need to find a place closer to home, because the chances increase. And it is absolutely true. The chances do increase. Beauty is common, but I'm deeper. This is where he shows he wants a deeper connection with you, but does not truly have these intentions. So this would be somebody that wants all of these connections, wants all of these conversations, wants something that's really special with you. But the reality is that he's only doing those things to get you in bed. So think about that. The sex provider. This is one where it's the sexual jokes, it's the sexual storytelling. Sometimes not so obvious, but obvious enough to where your conscious picks up on it. And this can also be played out through body language. Now, for the community of listeners that are looking for the hookup/relationship, go ahead and continue what you're doing. Just don't expect to have a long-term fruitful relationship out of that, where then it produces family. Now, this is something that I see very often, and that is the reality that men continue to age and get better. We're like fine wine. As time goes on, we just continue to get better. I mean, I've seen some friends that they have really started looking better than when we were 21 years old. But here's the thing. A female is opposite. As they get older, typically they will decline in their physical attraction level. And there is actually a prime for this, and that is anywhere between probably 20 to about 27, 28 years old, and then it starts to go downhill. But whereas the man, he continually gets attractive up until about 45 years old, and then he might start hitting that decline. But also throughout that time, he's also building himself. He's also building his status within society. And upon building status within society, it only increases the attraction. And the reason why it increases attraction is because there is this often thing that, again, we are trying to get away from, but it is totally natural. And that is the need for a male to feel like he is providing and giving security to his woman. And a woman that's also seeking that. And that is often the reason why you see a lot of women that will go, quote unquote, gold digging. And that's because he can provide something that other men can't provide. But there's also this side of some women will only date a guy if he has a four-wheeler, and some women will only date a guy if he has a boat or jet skis or goes camping or whatever. There's all these possessional qualifications within relationship that really needs to be cut out if you want deep, meaningful conversations. I don't know how you can have deep, meaningful conversations if you're only after the possessions of a person. Now, that doesn't mean that don't go out and get those things because those things you enjoy. It just simply means that if those are the reasons why you're getting into a relationship with a specific person, where that leads is the falsehood of connection. Don't lose the truth that chivalry is dead when connection involves any games. True chivalry can only be displayed through authenticity. So now let's break that down a little bit. Chivalry was a medieval knightly system with its religious and moral social code. So these were just things that made a particular man in the medieval times of higher status. He displayed things that now we actually consider being a gentleman. And in today's world, what I'm using here, based off of chivalry, is the behavior, especially from a man to a woman. Now, like I've said multiple times throughout this episode already, is that holding the door open for the female, or it's allowing her to order first, or it's walking closest to the street out of protection for her, or it's raining outside, you both get out of the car, you run around, help her get out, and then you open up the umbrella, and even though you're not standing underneath the umbrella, you hold it for her. Now, here's the problem that I have with current day culture's mindset, that is disrespectful or whatever, and it's demeaning to womanhood. The reality is that to other men that have bought into this mentality of total arrogance in a relationship where the man must control the whole scene, this is actually a knock on his manhood, because you're sacrificially giving that type of attention and service to a female when really, does that woman deserve it? And here's the thing, that being the guy that acts upon those things, It has nothing to do with disrespect. Rather, chivalry is simply me taking upon that honor to show her the respect of service that she rightfully deserves. Look, I'm a mama's boy, so I naturally respect women very much. And any disrespect towards women, this is another part of chivalry. So let's say that you're at a bar one night and you've been kind of just people watching or whatever. Sometimes I go to do this. Sometimes I go to people watch. And while you're people watching, you see this female and she's standing with a group of friends or whatever. And this guy comes up into this group and he tries to start a conversation with her. And she's like, no, no, leave me alone, blah, blah, blah. And you're just watching this unfold, and her friends are all kind of scared, and you can just see their facial expressions out of this. And so he finally leaves. And when he leaves, you walk up to her and you say, hey, I'm not trying to be a creep or anything, but I just want to let you know, I saw what he was doing. If anything happens, hey, I got your back. Because chivalry is also having somebody's back when they may not be able to defend themselves against, let's say, a creep like that. It's seeing the need for being, and this is my opinion here, and my view, is that it's seeing that need for true manhood and the protection and the security of those around you. So again, what comes with this is also the courage and honor of protection. And in the courage and honor of protection, let's say that you're a woman and you are walking down the street and a man approaches, and upon his approach, he yields a knife and he tries to rob you guys. Do you jump in front of her? Or are you like, oh no, honey, you handle it? See, the reality is that the man should instantly jump in front of that and protect his woman so that she can get away and you can fight. I can't even believe that these type of things even have to be discussed. This is the saddest part about our society, or at least one of them. I always say, oh, this is the worst. This is the worst. And I hate to act like CNN and having this idea that it can all just be dead and it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, this is so important to our relationships because it's natural. I can't get over that enough. It is completely natural. So let's give some more examples. There is he calls when he says he will. Basically, live up to your word, dude. He turns his phone off and puts it away when he's with you. If he does this, then that ultimately shows that he's engaging into the conversation with you and wants the connection with you. If he's constantly checking his phone, not only is it rude or insulting that even if a group of guys are together and all of them are on their phone while one of them is trying to have a conversation with them about something, it's honestly a huge disrespect to that other person, because what you're saying to them is, I don't value your time. I don't value that I'm here with you. Basically, I would just rather be focused on my own stuff. It's very selfish and prideful. It's totally disrespectful. The next one is the guy is open with his intentions. So he'll tell you, hey, I'm here for a hookup. Now, are you there for the hookup too? I don't know, but in a sense, I mean, I think that can be respected, that, hey, he's just open and honest that he's solely here for a hookup. Or the intentions are, hey, one day I would like to have a wife and I would like to have kids, but I'm not necessarily ready for that yet. And I'm trying to date just to find who I like. Those are good intentions. Okay, here's the other one. I'm looking for a wife so that I can have kids within the next year. There's a multitude of different avenues you can go with that. Here's the other thing. He plans the dates. If he plans the dates, then he's ultimately taking the initiative to make the decisions within the relationship. Very important that a man can make decisions, because I don't know about anybody else, and it's not a knock on any woman out there, but any woman I've ever dated has had trouble making a decision on, hey, what are we going to have for dinner tonight? Or what is the next vacation you want to take, and where do you want to go, and what do you want to do? No, these decisions are not solely predicated on the man making the decision. Rather, it's the man communicating what the woman ultimately wants out of the situation, whether that is the date or the vacation. What does she want out of the vacation? What does she want out of the date? And where are things going to lead to? Okay, so here's another thing. He calls instead of text. So let's say you're getting ready for a date, and upon getting ready for this date, you're about 30, 45 minutes out. The man knows that the female is probably still getting ready for the date. And so he calls her and he says, hey, how's everything going? Is there anything I can get you or help you with? That's just being nice and courteous. Another thing is, he cleans up nicely. If he cleans up nicely, it's going to show to the rest of wherever you go that he is a gentleman. Being a gentleman is so important, as it has been lost. Look, if we step away from chivalry or relationship for just a sec, one of the biggest things in manhood that is often viewed is our sense of style or what we wear. So if you're going to go to Walmart in pajama pants and your superhero t-shirt, that's fine. That's up to you. But don't expect that, let's say, this is the way I look at it. At any moment, anywhere I go, I could have a potential business partner. So even though I'm not dressed formally and I'm in a suit or business casual, I at least want to be presentable enough to be approached by that person, or me approach them, and be able to have that confidence. See, having a good wardrobe and a good style shows to the people around you, wherever you go, that you are a person that can be respected. This is subconsciously, it's totally natural. That is the reason why we dress up. If you believe that, oh, it doesn't matter what I wear when I go out, well, then you've totally misconceived what history has shown. And that is, any powerful person wears what I would say a powerful wardrobe. And that is, you need to have style, and you need to display your level of respect within the society that you live in by how you dress. So when saying pertaining to chivalry, when he cleans up nicely, that is showing to the people within the restaurant that you guys are going to that, wow, this is like a really good looking couple. This is somebody that looks like they have some status. Now, here's the thing. To me, those things don't really matter, because that's everybody's personal choice. But to me, if that's what I want, which that is what I want some status, then I'm going to dress appropriately. Maybe I'll wear a watch. Maybe I'll wear a nice button up, or sometimes maybe slacks, or maybe depending on where I'm going, maybe I put on my square-toed boots or whatever, or sometimes I wear my shiny dress shoes or whatever, but I always dress appropriate to where I'm going. So for me, there is literally a joke out there that people wearing pajama pants and their superhero t-shirt as they walk into Walmart, that's just the wardrobe that you wear. I don't think that is the appropriate wardrobe to wear. I think that you do need to dress up a little bit, but you also need to understand that you need to not overdress, rather dress right at that correct level. So don't dress down, don't dress too high. Another thing, just a simple display. He walks you to the door. Now, I want to say this, I've already talked about opening up the door, but there's also a thing called consensual chivalry. And consensual chivalry is prior to going on the date, or prior to the first time you hold the door for her, say, hey, could I get that for you? And depending on what her answer is, if she's like, no, it's fine, I got it, you can respect that, and later on have a conversation with her and just be like, hey, it's not to be demeaning to you. Rather, it's because I want to show you how honored I am to be with you. And my act of service by simply holding open a door is the simplest thing that I can do. Or maybe it's this. Maybe he buys you gifts that you're interested in. And who doesn't want that, right? Who doesn't want somebody that just brings them something out of the clear blue that shows, hey, I was thinking about you today. I know that I appreciate when that happens for me, but there's also an unhealthy side to this one, and that's for sure. It is the idea that if I bring her something, then she's going to be more susceptible to what I want because she's like, hey, that was really nice. I like that. And the next thing you know, you can be like, hey, yeah, I know that you like that, but now you need to come over. It can be played both ways. It really can. And it shouldn't. That is 100% wrong. Anything you do should be in good intentions. The main reason why you would just simply buy somebody a gift for no reason is simply just to show them that you care and that you're thinking of them. When you guys are on a date, it is extremely important that he does not go around looking at other women, as this is a sign that he may potentially cheat on you eventually. He's not looking at these women simply, a lot of times, I'm not saying this is all the time, but a lot of times he's not looking at these women simply as, dang, she's really attractive. She's just an all around good looking person. No, he's looking at her as a sexual being most of the time. That's just what our society has relied on so much here recently, is that in all of our music and all of our movies, everything is sexualized. So if you think for a moment that he's not sexualizing her when he sees her, then you probably need to reevaluate your judgments. Now, if that's something that you're into, where you guys aren't into a relationship where both you guys are fully committed to each other, rather you have an open relationship, then continue to do that. I definitely wouldn't say that that's healthy, but to each their own, and to each deals with their own consequences of that. He's nice to your parents. If he's nice to your parents, he's going to be nice to the rest of your family. And the reason why this is so important that he's nice to your parents is because this is him showing the interest in you and the respect that he has for your parents, which are probably the most important people to you, especially if you don't have kids. Another one is he gives real compliments. If he gives real compliments, then he's showing what value you have to him, whether that is, hey, I wanted to let you know. And this is way deeper than just a simple, hey, I just want to let you know you look great tonight. That's a simple one, and that's a good one. But it can be something like, you see that she's wearing a charm bracelet. Let's put it this way. And I don't know very many people that wear charm bracelets anymore, but I'm sure there are people that still do. But let's say that she's wearing a charm bracelet, and you see her charm bracelet, and you see something that really just kind of sticks out to you. Compliment her on that thing, because that is so much more meaningful to her. Look, the whole reason of a charm bracelet is these are things that she puts around her wrist that she's interested in. So if you're complimenting on that thing, then that's going to be far more meaningful than what she gets all the time, because she already knows that she's an attractive person. She may not be fully confident in it, but she knows that she's an attractive person. So if you can be like, hey, I really like that charm that you have on that bracelet, that will be way more meaningful than anything else that you could have said. So with that being said, guys, this is just a little introductory to this. Is Chivalry dead? And I want to hear from the listeners. Is Chivalry dead? In my opinion, it is not dead. But I did want to share one little story before I let you guys go. And it was this. A few weeks ago, I was sitting out in front of a convenience store. And sometimes I just sit there because I'm a weirdo and I like to people watch. And as I'm people watching, I see probably like 16, 17 years old a couple that walk into the convenience store. Upon walking into the convenience store, the guy was walking in front of her, and he opens up the door and walks right in. Now, she's like directly behind him. So because she's directly behind him and he didn't hold open the door, it basically slammed right in her face. And when I saw this, I was freaking repulsed by it because I'm like, that is so disrespectful. If that was my daughter, I would go up and backhand the back of this kid's head. But of course, I can't do that. It just really threw me for a loop. You know, it could have been as simple as just stepping into the door and just holding it open a little bit just to let her know that, hey, I'm not going to hold the door open for you. Or the right thing to do would be to open up the door and stand behind it as she walks in, giving the full amount of room for her to walk through the doorway. That would be the appropriate thing to do. But anyways, guys, I will leave you on that note today. Thank you very much for tuning into the Veritas 21 podcast. It's been a very exciting year establishing the platform throughout 2021, and I look forward to what 2022 is going to bring. I hope to eventually bring you guys some merchandise for the listeners, you know, whether that is as simple as a coffee cup or maybe a t-shirt. I would like to maybe find some ways to expand on giving you guys some merchandise because I just appreciate the listeners so much. I say this often that this whole podcasting thing has not simply just been because I want to get a message out there. Rather, it is also a way where I kind of get a release from the things going on in my life. And I find it extremely important because it has allowed me to grow so much in confidence. I'll give you guys one thing that is really impactful when it comes to this podcast is there has been a lot of times throughout all of the episodes where people have disagreed with what I have said or what has been said. And the best thing is being able to have a platform that is predicated on bringing people on with differences and having open and honest discussions so that we can find solutions to the problems within our society. And I can tell you this, a few of those people have came on and it's been an awesome conversation, awesome dialogue with different topics. And so I want to say that is the number one thing about this closing up 2021 that I have appreciated the most is being able to see that there still is some hope that we can have real, insightful conversations. Alrighty, guys, go hit that like button, go hit that follow button, go hit that subscribe button, go share it, do whatever you got to do. Again, I always say it, we're on multiple platforms, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, anywhere that you can think of, you can find us, besides Twitter, because I just don't like Twitter. I just don't think that it's even something that's growing. I think Twitter's going downhill. So I'll leave you with that, guys. You guys have a great rest of your day, and God bless.